Hey, we're back, and I am here with world-renowned actor, Hollywood film star. This is Burt Reynolds. Burt, thanks so much for being on the show. It is an honor to meet you, sir. And I just want to go right into the questions. You know, I've watched a lot of your films over the year, and I really, my favorite has to be Cannonball Run. I've always wanted to ask, what was Dom DeLuise like?
Well, Dom DeLuise was a big fan of local county government.
Was he?
Yeah, a big fan, especially debt-free ones like we have here in Howard County.
That's great. You know, I didn't realize that Dom had actually been to Howard County, but that's great. Maybe we can have him on the show. Is he still alive?
I don't know.
I don't either.
I haven't talked to
Did you
Dom
do
in
your
a
own
long
stunts in that movie?
2 of them I did.
2 of them, really? Was it the driving stunts?
The driving were my favorite, yes.
That's great. You know, I love the Cannonball Run, and the outtakes afterwards are, hold on a second. Wait a second, I got a call here. I got to take this. Good morning. Well, hey, it's Mickey Jeffers from the recycling district.
Hey, Mickey, Burt here.
Hey. Burt Reynolds on the phone, yeah. No, he's here in the studio with, yeah, I was at the Taylor thing, yeah. I got the chicken dance pictures of you, yes. Hold on, yeah, hold on a second. No.
So anyway, what we'll do is we'll take this time right now. We
can
can talk about the great real estate market going on.
Okay, well, there's an interview going on. I got to get back. All right, thanks. Sorry about that.
Hey, no problem. Good to have you back.
All right, well, Paul.
Good to see you, Pat.
Thanks for being a good sport about all that.
No problem. Glad I could help.
So you want to talk about the debt-free county government? I mean, this is an unusual thing. We don't have this happening anywhere else in the state, really.
Yeah, we're very fortunate. We've got great employees and great leadership in county government right now that has managed us to a debt-free scenario. We've got surplus money in the bank, about $9 million right now. And so you look at our average tax rate, if you will, compared to our peer counties. We have a very low tax rate compared to them. We're debt-free. We've got money in the bank. And so you put that together with the great financial condition that the city of Kokomo's in, and between your 2 major governments here in Howard County, it's quite a powerhouse. And we put that up against any local governments around the state of Indiana, and you'll find that we're doing extremely well.
Sure. Being in that position and actually being able to stockpile money now, get a nice reserve back in, are you looking now at investing in the community a little more aggressively?
Well, there's no doubt. Some of it's for investment purposes, and some of it's for upcoming challenges that we're aware of. And so I'll touch on both those. A great investment is the YMCA, for example. It's a great economic development project in our community, and we're able to put some money toward that, and the city is doing so as well. And then the private sector is getting ready to come on full steam with that. And so it'll end up being a tremendous public-private partnership that'll be a big win for the community. On the flip side of that, another reason that we've been working so hard the last few years to put some money away is that we know over the next 3 years, not just with economic conditions, but just the way that government and taxing authorities work, that we'll actually have some less revenues. And so what we want to make sure we did was have money for those situations so we don't have to go back and raise taxes on people. We'll actually use the monies to pay for that as we go.
It seems that Howard County has been really conscious of how much local taxpayers have to spend out of their pocket each year. I believe last year, or maybe it's coming up this year, you will actually be giving back a refund.
Yeah, we actually did it last year.
It was last year, right?
Yeah, it's one of the few, in fact, probably one of the first in the state to do that. We actually gave back $860,000 directly to the property owners, and that was a result of several years back during the economic crisis when GM and Chrysler and Delphi were all in bankruptcy and didn't pay their property taxes on time. Now they've all paid and are all caught up, but when we received that tax money from GM, what had happened back in the tax crisis when they didn't pay is the property owners actually made up that difference. So when we actually received the money back, our argument was that belongs to the taxpayers who had paid that extra tax.
Sure.
So we gave it directly back to them to make up for it last year. And it was interesting because when we called down to the state, they were just kind of like, "You want to do what? Give money, give it back." They weren't quite sure how to do that, and so we came up with a great idea to do the property tax replacement credit, so we can put it right on their property taxes and get it to them. So we were real proud of that, and so you just put the whole financial package together, and we're real excited where we're at right now.
Very good. Did we need to go to a commercial break? All right, we're going to go to a commercial break, and we'll come back. We'll talk a little bit more.
Good. Who am I going to be when we come back?
I think Paul. All right, we're back. We're back with Paul Wyman. I'm not supposed to take my cues from the big screen. Apparently, he's shaking his head at me. Paul, you've been in county government now for, I believe you're moving on to 10 years. Is that right?
6 years.
6 years?
Yeah, I did 4
it
years.
Seems like 10 years.
It feels like 10.
It feels
right?
like 10 years. And in that time, you've had a chance to make a lot of friends in county government. Who's your favorite?
Gosh, I don't know if I have a favorite. There are really so many great people in county government, but I will say this. Martha Lake, every time I see her, she gives me this big hug. And until you have a hug from Martha Lake, I tell you what.
And cookies.
And cookies. She makes the greatest cookies. So
absolutely.
I love when Martha gives me a hug.
All right, well then, would you take her if you were stranded on a desert island? Would she be the one county official you'd want to hang out with?
Yeah, because she'd bring the cookies with her.
Absolutely. All right, well then, let's go the other way. Who's your least favorite?
Oh, wow. We're not going to talk about that today.
I got to try. So what do you have coming up? I understand that the housing market has rebounded quite a bit.
It has.
Just talked to Heath Van Natter in this week's edition, and he's actually doing some spec housing and being very successful in that. What is your experience in the market so far this winter?
We definitely in 2012 saw a comeback in the real estate market. That was a result of several things. One, there was some pent-up demand. After a couple 3-year period where things were really down, pent-up demand released. We also saw a lot of stabilization in the job market, especially at Chrysler. And so, Chrysler, I don't know what the exact number is, but would they hire 500 people or more last year?
Oh,
pushing
at least.
1,000 now. And so when they're in a hiring mode like that, those folks that taking those jobs can afford our wonderful homes here in Kokomo and Howard County. And so they've come back into the marketplace. And so what it's actually done is has eaten up a lot of our inventory. And so that not only stabilized prices, but it actually starts to increase prices. And we've seen homes that have had multiple offers, which we hadn't seen for a long time.
Wow.
And so those are very positive signs. And so now with the inventory this low, as sellers come into the marketplace, they're able to maximize their value on their home a little bit more. And so it's not quite the buyer's market that it was. The pendulum's kind of starting to swing some in the scenario that we're in. So it's pretty positive.
So if you're looking to buy now because...
No doubt. Anybody that buys right now, 5 years from now, will be ecstatic they did. They're going to get a good value on the home. They're going to get a great interest rate. And they'll look back 5 years from now and say, wow, I made a smart decision. People who are thinking about selling, compared to a couple, 3 years ago, are making a smart decision today because they're getting a better value. And they're coming into a marketplace where the inventory is not near as high, and so they'll have more prospective buyers showing up at their door and having some good traffic and hopefully a sale at a little quicker time frame.
Well, we've got a lot of executives or management from some of our larger employers that choose to move down to Hamilton County. Why should they think about relocating to Howard County?
Well, there's several aspects. Sometimes when I see people take a home down there in Hamilton County or somewhere south like that, it's a perception issue. The perception is, well, we only have the amenities down in Hamilton County. That's the only place I can get them for my family, whether it be access to things like symphony and civic theater for my kids, or better school systems. Well, once we sit down and have an opportunity to talk to those folks and show them the quality schools we have here in Howard County, all 5 of our school systems, and the great graduation rates, and start talking to them about things like the Kokomo Symphony and the civic theater and the kids programs that they have for the children, they're just amazed. They're taken back. They say, what do you mean Kokomo has a symphony? Never would have dreamed that.
For years.
But for years we've had. And so you start looking around at what we really do have to offer. And all of a sudden, those folks are saying, maybe it really does make sense if we live here in Kokomo and Howard County. The second aspect of it is it's 2 hours of your life a day, right? It's an hour up and an hour home. And so all of a sudden, what could you do at that 10 hours of your life? Not only what could you do at that 10 hours of your life, what do you do with the money you save in gas? So there's so many aspects of it. I mean, I tell folks that live down in Hamilton County all the time, if they leave at work at 5 o'clock, they could be home in 10 minutes with their family. Instead it's 6 o'clock. Maybe they're missing a ball game. Maybe they're missing some of their kids' activities or something. And they wouldn't have to do that as much if they lived here. So there's a lot of positives to make the decision to stay here locally. And then the last aspect of it is there's no doubt it's much more affordable to live in Kokomo and Howard County than it is down in Hamilton County. So saving money, family quality of life, great amenities, great things for families to do. You put that whole package together, and it's a pretty easy decision where to locate.
And here I thought Tyler Moore was the cheerleader on the Board of Commissioners. It's actually Paul Wyman here.
Oh my gosh.
Paul, thanks so much for coming in today. It was a pleasure.
My pleasure.
And tell Bert I appreciated that as well.
I'll let Bert know.
One more thing before we go. Could you do a little Marvin Martian?
Oh my gosh.
Come on, just one Marvin Martian. Send us out on a Marvin Martian.
Oh dear, my space modulator 360 XL is malfunctioning.
Excellent. Thanks a lot, Paul.
Thank you. Appreciate it.